of ours towards God, that itself will lead to God realization. So, note one thing, don't have these wild imaginations and get into trouble. Be pragmatic and practical. Enjoy the devotion, enjoy the bhakti of God. Otherwise, with this imagination, we suffer. Another thing is, remembering is bad luck. Shirod was remembering is bad luck. What is this bad luck? There's nothing called as bad luck. It is your own created thing. It was just imagination. Where was bad luck? Where is bad luck? It was not there. It was just pure imagination, and we term it as bad luck or destiny or something. No, it is not so. It was just an imagination. And then we give so many things as bad luck. Just like if the doctors cannot understand what some disease is, they can't diagnose what it is, they will tell allergy or give some technical words or give it as some what you call mental disease, and they will ward it off. So like that, we will tell bad luck. There's nothing called bad luck. So it is all in our making. We create all the problems. There's nothing called bad luck. So in the technical terms, in the Mimamsa or in the Veda Purva, it is told, adrishta. In Sanskrit, bad luck means duradrushta. Luck means adrishta. What is the terminology called adrishta means? Drishta means which is seen. Adrishta means which is not seen, opposite of it. So something which is not seen. Whatever work we do, whatever activities, whatever thoughts we think, that will give us result in the form of good or bad, papa or punya. Every action will have this result, karma phala. So now if we have not performed that intensely, whether good or bad deed, so the result will not be given quickly. Whatever you do intensely, if you do good deed intensely, you will get quick result. If you do bad deed intensely, you will get quick result. See, Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, they all did bad deeds intensely, and they got the result quickly. Good people, they also did intensely and they got the good result. But why are we not getting the result of our actions? Because it is not intense. Either it will be very, very ordinary. That's why the Sanskrit term is adhama, madhyama. So mediocre and very, very low is called adhama. So we perform activities without any intensity or feelings or devotion. So it is adhama. So when we do it, okay, with some intensity and some emotions, that is madhyama. So only when it is intense, it gives result quickly. But if we do in a way of adhama or madhyama, what is going to happen? Mediocre or very low intensity, then you will get the result, but it will be very low. So it will be sitting there unseen. It will be getting accumulated. That's why there is a term in India, that person's pot of sin or pot of punya has not filled up. So he is enjoying, he is doing all the things bad or good. The moment the pot gets full, then he will come to know the result. They'll be telling Papa the Koda. So that sinful pot has to be filled up. So when that gets filled up, either the bad action or the good action comes to us and gives the result. So suppose you have done good deeds in an ordinary way and mediocre way, it will get collected, and after the pot is full, then you will get the result wherever you are. You may be in some other life, you might have performed that in many, many lives earlier. So it has got accumulated, and now when you fill it up, after that mediocre work or ordinary work has filled up, so the good result will come as adrishta, luck. You think it is luck, but it is not luck. It was just you are accumulating that karma, and it got accumulated and it gave the result. Maybe after 2 lives, after 3 lives, after 10 lives, maybe. Then we get it and you tell, oh, where did I get it from? Suddenly you got lottery, suddenly you got money, property. No, nothing sudden. You cannot get anything without your deserving it. You have worked for it and you got it. Even the same is with the bad luck. So whatever the bad karmas we have done, if you have done it mediocre way, if you have done it in a very low way, intensity, it gets filled up and finally it comes in the form of bad luck. It is not bad luck. It was performed by you. That's the reason why Swami Vivekananda tells always take up responsibility. Everything is happening not because that God is punishing you or rewarding you, or your parents are responsible for it, or the circumstances, or the teachers, or the school, or the politicians are responsible. Not at all. It's I who am responsible for my present condition. It's I who am responsible for my future condition. So take up the responsibility, whether good or bad. So if you have performed those karmas and got the result now, whatever my present condition is due to, whatever I have performed earlier, then it is in your hands. With your present work, you can create your future, you can change your future. So that is the goal. That is what Swami Vivekananda tells. So your future is in your hand. So you can change your future. Work in the present. See, whatever might be your age, maybe 100 years or 120 years, 150 years, but you can live only in the present. So that's why be mindful. What is that mindfulness, awareness? Work properly now, intensely now. You will get good result. If you work intensely now, with intense devotion, intense feeling, whether it is spiritual life, whether it is worldly life, whether it is business or anything, if you do it in an intense way, what is that intensity? With full concentration, with full mindfulness, with full awareness, then you will get quick result. That's all. So now he felt intensely now, Kshirod. Then he didn't feel, he felt the negative things intensely. He was afraid that he might be exposed. So negative things intensely. Now he did that divine discontentment positively and he got the vision immediately. So even though Ramakrishna was not in the body. Now we'll go to the next phase of Brahmanandaji's life in Belur Math and Calcutta. Although Belur Math is the headquarters of Ramakrishna order, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj was not there most of the time because he had to go to different ashramas. He has to construct, he has to build, he has to look after, he has to take care of the monastic members, not only of the physical development of the ashrama like buildings and also the activities, but also the inner life, the spiritual life of the monastic members, and also to take care of the workers, the staff and everything. So Brahmanandaji Maharaj was supposed to give his mind to all these things. So though he was the president of the whole order, although Belur Math is the headquarters of Sri Ramakrishna order, Brahmanandaji Maharaj was not there most of the time. He was busy founding new centers and inspiring monks and devotees. He handed over the management of the daily activities to Swami Premanandaji Maharaj. So there is a post in Belur Math called the manager of Belur Math, because it's a huge establishment there. Even now it has increased still much. Every day, thousands of people will have food. There will be 200 or 300 monks and brahmacharis. Then there will be staff, more than 200, 300 staff. There will be so many guests every day, thousands of guests. So all their things have to be taken care. So there is a separate thing called managership. One manager will be there who will be managing and looking after. So now Swami Premanandaji Maharaj, another direct disciple of Ramakrishna, here the responsibility of management of the daily activities was given to Swami Premananda and Shivananda. Both of them are direct disciples of Ramakrishna. When Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj stayed at Belur Math, in between his travels, so then a festive mood would prevail among the monks. Many devotees and distinguished people would come to see him and receive spiritual instructions. Brahmanandaji Maharaj lived always a God-intoxicated life. Yet at the same time, he knew what went on around him. So though he was always God-intoxicated, his mind was always merged in the Parabrahma or God, whatever Ishta Devata. But at the same time, he was conscious of what is going on around him, what is going on in all the different ashramas, so many hundreds of ashramas. He was aware of everything happening in every corner of the ashram. So he knew what went on around him. He would supervise even the care of the trees too. He would look after the plants and trees. He was very, very, what do you call, interested, highly interested. He loved gardening. So everywhere he used to collect different varieties of plants and trees from the Himalayas, and he would take it to South India, from South India to West India. Not only plants, but also the spiritual culture, as we told, the Ramanam Sankirtan. He got it, he heard it in Bangalore, and he took it to all the ashramas. So, like that, whatever good thing, he used to take it to all different parts of ashrama and introduce it. So now gardening, he was very, very much interested in gardening. One of the easiest and one of the best way of reducing your mental tensions, problems, or even overcoming depression is gardening. You can do rooftop gardening. You can do gardening in your own house, inside your house, in the veranda of your house, balcony of your house, or the rooftop of your house. Very easy. You need not go purchase anything. If it is pandemic, there is a lockdown. Okay, you bring vegetables. Every vegetable will have seeds in them. Now, so there is so much of what you call organic waste. Okay, if it is inorganic like plastic and other things, you give it to the municipality or the people who are taking it. But if it is organic waste, why should you throw it? Segregate it and put it at a place. There are many ways by you can make it compost without even getting bad smell. There are so many systems. You can do it, you can learn it. So if you can prepare compost out of this organic waste, and then there is a system by which that organic waste can be converted into gas, methane gas too. Then you can use it for cooking. There are systems, small scale, middle scale, medium scale, and large scale. We have worked in that. When we were in Bangalore, we used to even give it to many people, give that idea to many people. There were people doing this rooftop gardening. So much of wastage to the municipality will be reduced. So all these things can be done. Then with that organic waste, you can prepare compost. You can even produce electricity. That is minimum. That is DC current. Direct current can be produced, not alternative current. It can produce only small amount of current. Then you can use some bulbs or some tube lights with that. Then you can have gas, methane gas for cooking. Then compost. 3 things will come out of it. Just by waste, you can do all these things. Then with that remaining compost, after producing gas, after producing electricity, with whatever that slurry or something you have got, you can do roof gardening, balcony gardening. Then whatever seed you have got, that may be your goats, any goat, pumpkin, or anything, put that seed into that compost and you'll see plants growing and giving fruits. And when you get that fruits or anything and use it, flowers, there'll be so much of joy, there'll be so much of relaxation. So it can reduce any mental tensions and any type of depressions. Instead of spending so much of money going to the psychiatrist, we have seen in Johannesburg, 1 hour consultation with the psychiatrist, you have to pay thousands of rands. So something like 5,000 rupees or something, just 1 hour. So whatever, now just by doing gardening and some even animals like cows, being with them, looking after them, some pets, that can reduce everything. So now Brahmanandaji Maharaj was very interested in gardening. When he stayed in Belur Math in between his travels and different works, a festive mood would prevail among the monks. Many devotees, distinguished people would come to see him and they would receive spiritual instructions from him. Brahmanandaji Maharaj lived a God-intoxicated life, yet at the same time, he knew what was happening around him. He would supervise the care of the trees, flowering plants, vegetable garden, and also dairying. He would check the cleanliness of the shrine as well as the rooms of the monks. He would go to the rooms of the monks and brahmacharis, the novices, and check how they have kept the room. Is it kempt or unkempt? How they have kept their clothes, everything he used to go and check. He would inquire about the health and spiritual progress of the monks and brahmacharis. He was a loving father. He was a compassionate guru, and at the same time, a stern taskmaster, disciplinarian. He would not bear any lack of discipline among the monks. He reminded them, this is Swami Vivekananda's mutt or ashrama. If you cannot live according to his wishes, you can leave the monastery. You are free to go and stay in Himalayas or wherever. Swami Vivekananda gave his very life to build this organization and to give you everything to facilitate your spiritual practice and growth. Try to realize the infinite love he bore for you. So, if you can make use of this opportunity given by Swami Vivekananda, he has shed his sweat and blood to build every brick of this ashrama. So, if you don't realize God, make use of this opportunity, then it's a waste. So, try to realize the infinite love Swami Vivekananda bore for all of you. Now, one of the monk recorded in his diary, it is winter, December 1915. Nowadays, Brahmanandaji Maharaj has made a rule that all monks and brahmacharis should rise before 4 a.m. and should sit for japam and meditation by 4:30 a.m. Some practice meditation in the shrine. Some go to Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj's room and sit there for meditation. Others on the veranda facing the Ganga. They used to sit on the bank of Ganga and meditate. An attendant of Brahmanandaji Maharaj has been entrusted with the duty of ringing a bell. So duty was given to one of the monk, an attendant of Brahmanandaji Maharaj, used to go and ring the bell in the monastery. So just before 10 minutes to 4 o'clock, 4 a.m., Brahmi Muhurta, it's called Brahmi Muhurta, Pratas Sandhya. Now Maharaj himself, now see the speciality here. Now telling others to wake up before 4 o'clock. And if you wake up late, then who will follow you? But see what is Brahmanandaji Maharaj is doing. He has got everything. He has got the realization of God. Nothing is to be achieved. And he has done so much of tapasya already. So much of starving, so much of spiritual austerities, strict disciplines. And he has completely got the highest realization. There's nothing to be achieved. But to set an example, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj in that old age used to get up at 3 a.m. Early in the morning, 3 o'clock. His sleep is very short. After practicing meditation himself for 2.5 hours early in the morning, after that, all assemble in his room by 7 a.m. and they will be singing of devotional songs for about an hour. Then Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj gives spiritual instructions to all. He elevates the mind of each. So if we are at the lowest step, just by hearing his spiritual teachings and words, he elevates the mind of each 6 or 7 steps higher. So these are all the recordings of one of the monks who lived with Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj in Belur Math. So let us see what are the other routine of Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj. Brahmanandaji also taught the monks the secret of work. So what is the secret of work? We are dealing that in Bhagavad Gita on the Wednesdays. And also on the Saturday, we are in the 2nd chapter, we are in the secret of work only, the preparation to Karma Yoga. Yesterday also, I dealt about it. how to work without getting any sin. Papam na papam avapsyasi, Lord Krishna tells you will not get incur or you will not be touched by sin. Sukhadukke same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. That is what Lord Krishna tells Arjuna. Whether it is pain or pleasure, whether it is success or failure, whether it is victory or loss, take it in an equanimous way. Don't get disturbed, tossed about by that. Have a balanced mind. If you work like this without attaching to the result of these dualities, then you will not be touched by sin at all. If you do for the work's sake or duty's sake, if you do work for the love of the God to please the Lord, then that will not touch you at all. Papa will not touch you. The secret is given. Likewise, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj here, he also taught monks the secret of work. Let us see how he has taught. It will be useful. Simply carrying out some undertaking is not sufficient. We have seen the bullock carts. Nowadays, also in India, we can see the bullock carts. We have seen some 10 kilometers away in the mandi, the rice mandi or the provisions are there, big markets, not like our supermarkets, but where there will be only rice sold. It's called rice mandi, or whatever the grains, dal, all those different mandis will be there. The businessmen who take all these things, they give it to the bullock cart owners. Their work is to just transport that. Now, in olden days, there's no need of this petrol, no pollution. So now they used to load that bullock cart with all these many sacks, hundreds of bags of grains like rice and dal and so many other things. And that will be covered, tied well, and the two bullock carts will be asked to go forward. It just walks 10 kilometers away. We used to see it would be just walking on the roads. It will follow all the traffic rules. No driver. It would just, he would, from that mandi 10 kilometers, he will set that walking. The bullock will go on pulling that hundreds of bags and come to the destination, to the house 10 kilometers away without the driver. You will be having so many carts. Even now that is happening, we have seen that. Then it is just like driverless vehicles now. Elon Musk or something in America, other people are trying to do driverless vehicles, cars and lorries and buses. So likewise, no, driverless already existed, bullock carts. So he would have so many carts, he can't be on all the carts. So he would just set that bullock cart free and they used to take the all mechanical, start there and end at the house. That's all. No other thing for that bullock. So on the way, while it is walking on the road, it is yoked to the cart. So it can't stop and go here for, suppose there is nature call. Suppose it has to urinate, it has to excrete. Then what will the cow or the bullock do? Just on the way, while going on the road, it will urinate, it will excrete. Everything, the cow dung will be put on the road and goes on. So it doesn't bother about anything. While walking itself, it will be the bullock will be urinating on the road. Then it will be putting that cow dung. So like that, our elders used to tell, you work in that fashion. When we would do work without concentration, they used to compare this to the urination or the excretion of the bullock on the road when it is going there like that. So simply carrying out some undertaking is not sufficient. Like that bullock, it must be done in the right spirit, with the right attitude, with the right concentration. That is mindfulness. Knowing that, so what is that right mindfulness? How should you do? How can you bring in the right mindfulness and awareness and concentration? Knowing that one is serving the Lord, should always have this feeling. You're doing all these activities to please the Lord. How? I've given the example. You see the children, babies, when they go to the kindergarten, when they go to the pre-nursery, the still younger children also go to crush. So the children will have those things. After they come back, immediately to the house, they will report everything happening there to the mother and the father. Then they will do their homeworks. They will do their studies in the presence of the mother, sitting by the side of the mother or the father and telling everything to mother and dedicating everything to mother and father. Everything, whatever their thoughts, good or bad, everything they will tell to mother or father. Likewise, in the same manner, we are all the children of God. So whatever thoughts comes, whatever work you do, whatever things you do, every time, just like the child is in the presence of the mother and dedicating everything or telling everything to mother, mentally in your heart you can keep that Lord and go on making him the witness as the mother or father and dedicate everything, all the thing to God. You need not go on broadcasting, I'm doing that, or telling anybody. It should be secret. It should be within your heart, between you and your Ishtadevata. Just like the child may dance in front of the mother, but will that do in front of the stranger? No, it is only for the mother and the father. The child will be always free. Likewise, it is only between you and your Ishtadevata, God. So Brahmanandaji Maharaj is telling the secret of work, knowing that one is serving the Lord without any personal motive. Now, will you do anything, serve your mother or father and ask for charges, remuneration? Will you do the work of the house or do all those work and then ask mother to give money or salary? No. Without any fruit of our action, we don't ask. It is just to please the mother, just to please the father. So likewise, knowing that one is serving the Lord without any personal motive, ahaituka bhakti, priti. What is ahaituka? Without accepting any result or any thing in back, unconditional, no condition, unconditional. So knowing that one is serving the Lord without any personal motive, you have to do all the work. Keep, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj used to tell, keep 3/4 of your mind fixed on God, and with the remaining just 1/4, do whatever you have to do. If you follow this method, you will be an ideal karma yogi. So now you can see how to do ideal karma yoga. How to be an ideal karma yogi, the secret is given by Brahmanandaji Maharaj. Keep 3/4 of your mind fixed on God, and with the remaining 1/4, do whatever you have to do. If you follow this method, you will be an ideal karma yogi and you will attain. What will you attain? What is the use of doing that? Because we are all utilitarians. We want result. We are result oriented. So we'll ask, if I do that, what will I get? If I do this, what will I get? What do I get? What do I get? So we are always result oriented. So what will you get by doing work like this? Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj is already giving the Palashruti. Everybody wants Palashruti. After chanting Vishnu Sahasranama, what do I get? So they will tell, oh, you will get this, you will get this, you will get this. Okay, so what do I get? So if you do the work like this, Brahmanandaji Maharaj himself is telling, follow this method. If you follow this method, you will be an ideal karma yogi and you will attain peace and joy. Peace and joy, eternal peace and joy. Why do you work? Why do we do all this hard work every day? All are doing it for joy. All are performing every work, earning money, going to the office, everything, studies, your education, business, everything you are doing because of peace and joy. And by this method, you can easily get your peace and joy. What more do you want? On the other hand, if you only get involved in just activities without giving your mind to the higher cause, or the right attitude. On the other hand, if you get involved in activities without practicing meditation, ego and pride, ego and pride will crop up, and that is the cause of all quarrels, dissensions will ensue, thus disturbing the equanimity of your mind. So that will disturb our peace of mind if we act, if we do the work haphazardly without the proper attitude. Then what is the result? It will disturb your peace of mind. There will be ego, there will be pride, it will crop up, and quarrels and dissensions will ensue, thus disturbing the equanimity of your mind. So, as Lord Krishna tells, Samatvam Yoga Buchyate. Equanimity of mind is yoga. So, if you do your work haphazard way, without awareness, without dedicating it to God, without concentration, then it will disturb your peace of mind. It will bring in ego, it will bring in pride, and there will be quarrels, there will be fightings, dissensions. So, thus disturbing the equanimity of mind. Then where will there be any yoga? Where will there be any meditation? So Lord Krishna also tells the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. So the person who doesn't do it as a meditation, in the form of meditation, there will be no peace of mind. So such a person will not get peace of mind. Therefore, Brahmanandaji Maharaj is telling, therefore I tell you, my children, stick to your spiritual practices, sadhanas. By all means, whether you work or not, do not give up your spiritual sadhanas for any reason. Performing your japa and meditation and puja, bhajan, satsang, you should never give up for any reason. You may give up your work, you may give up all your entertainments, you may give up any other thing, but do not give up your spiritual practice. Do not give up your japa given by your guru. Perform it steadfastly. Perform it on time, regularly. So, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj is telling, therefore, its conclusion, I tell you, my children, stick to your sadhanas, stick to your spiritual practices. By all means, whether you may be sick, whether you may not be feeling happy, whether you may be happy, unhappy, whatever condition, don't give up your spiritual sadhana. By all means, even if you give up work, don't worry, nothing will happen. Whether you work or not. Therefore, I tell you, my children, stick to your sadhanas, spiritual practices, by all means, whether you work or not. Each and every work is equally important, whether it is meditation or household duties. Each and every work is important, whether it is meditation or household duties. Do it with the right spirit. Work is worship. Work is worship. So, one of the great luminaries, a saint called Basaveshwara in India, he tells Kayaka is Kailasa. What is Kayaka? Your work, the way you work with dedication. That is called Kayaka, karma. And you have to see Kailasa. Kailasa means the place where Lord Shiva lives. So Kayaka, the work is Kailasa. By your work, by the way you properly work with devotion, that should create Kailasa in your workplace. That is Kailasa, that will take you to Kailasa. So do that with proper attitude. So likewise, Swami Vivekananda used to tell, we have to first start with work and worship. Then we have to improve. When we go on improving, the work and worship will become work as worship. Then finally, the highest stage is work is worship. Work and worship, it will start with. Then second stage is work as worship. Then finally, we will reach a stage that is called work is worship. Then there will be no difference between any work and worship. Even the menial work will become worship. Holy Mother used to practice that. She used to do so much of work, even before cleaning. In puja, we, at every step, if you go to the science of worship, we see that after doing Achmana, we wash our hands with Ganga water. After doing one step Samanya Argya, we wash our hands, cleansing our hands. Then if we touch our mouth or if we do that Achmana or any other portion of the body, we wash our hands with Ganga. So the purificatory process is done. So Holy Mother Sharda Devi, when she used to sweep, before sweeping, before touching the broom, we think that it's an ordinary thing. It's a dirty thing, we'll throw it away here. But even lifting the broom, she would consider that as God. And so, like puja, just like ringing of the bell or doing the arati or feeding the Lord Naivedya, she used to think that the work of sweeping is also God's work. And she used to see God in the broom too. So before touching the broom, she used to wash her hands with Ganga to purify her hands and minds. Then she used to touch the broom, seeing God in the broom, and also the action of the brooming, sweeping, also would be looked after by Holy Mother as worship. Every step, Mother, not only in puja, she transformed puja from the puja place to the workplace. Sweeping, mopping, cooking, everything she used to see God and do that. It is there. If you study the Holy Mother's life, you can see it. So likewise, we can convert every work as puja. So that is what Brahmanandaji Maharaj is telling us, teaching us the secret of Karma Yoga. Each and every work, whether menial or the highest, whether thousands of people are watching it or nobody is watching it, each and every, because God is watching, the greatest one is watching always. So can you go away from the view of God? God will be always watching you. So how should you be doing all your works? So each and every work is equally important, whether it is meditation or it is household chores or any duties. So Brahmanandaji Maharaj is telling, do it with right spirit. Work should be worship. Work is worship. So puja. So just like puja, what will be your feeling when you are doing the puja? That should be with every work. Swami Brahmanandaji has given the secret of work, secret of Karma Yoga in a wonderful way. One day, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj wanted to test. Oh, this is very interesting. This incident is very interesting. You will note it, you see. You have to give your full attention to this incident. One day, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj wanted to test the depth of the monk's meditation. Okay, we saw that every day all the monks would come, sit in the room of Brahmanandaji, because you will be already getting at 3 o'clock and meditating. So the brahmacharis and other swamis were made to get up before 4 o'clock, and they used to come all after their ablution or washing and other things. They used to come at 4:30 and sit in the room or in the temple or facing Ganga. They used to do the meditation. So after meditation, now Brahmanandaji Maharaj would test and used to tell whose meditation was the best, the highest, who did the meditation, how to understand. Now Brahmanandaji is giving the wonderful secret. He used to find out today whose meditation was the best. So how to find it out? What is the secret? Let us see how. Okay. One day, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj wanted to test the depth of the meditation of the monks, morning meditation. Now, after meditation, he ordered each monk to peel a potato. So every monk or brahmacharian, even now in Belur Math, we have seen, they have to do some work. They can't stay without any work. They have to perform work. Revered, our Holy Mother Sharda Devi used to tell all the monks or brahmacharians, if you have to take food, you have to work and earn it and take food. It's not just like earning money or anything. Without working, you should never take any facility. So the monks will work so much. They will do the work of 10 people, but they will not take any remuneration. Basic things like food and little clothing, that's all. No other facilities. Minimum. So minimum input, maximum output. So that is the goal. So now all the monks, after the meditation, they have to do the work. They have to go to the kitchen. They'll be serving. They'll be sweeping. They'll be cleaning the toilet. So many different works have to be done by all brahmacharis and monk. Nobody can sit idle and just take food and be in a luxurious way. Never. Lot of work has to be done. Now, all these brahmacharis and monks had to go and peel the potato or cut the vegetables for the breakfast or for the naivedya, for the noon food of all the swamis and guests. So now he ordered each monk after the meditation to peel the potato. So potato will be cooked and given as noon food and offered to Master Ramakrishna then. So Swami Brahmananda Ji Maharaj, after the meditation of these brahmacharis and monks, he ordered them to peel the potato and bring it to him. Now, after they peeled the potato, each one of them separately, and brought it to him, he didn't know it was kept separately in baskets or bowls. Now he looked at the potato, the peeling of the potato, how it was peeled. He doesn't know, you should know that it is not named. Only the people who have bought it and kept that bowl know that is my bowl. I have done that work. But Brahmanandaji doesn't know. They have just placed it, arranged it. So Brahmanandaji went on examining the peeled potato. Then what did he tell? He checked those potatoes and then held one up and declared that the peeler of that one had very deep meditation. Can you understand? Can you gauge it? That person was Swami Shuddhanandaji Maharaj. He became the president of the order later on. He led a very great, high spiritual life, Swami Shuddhanandaji Maharaj. He was a disciple of Swami Vivekananda. Maharaj noticed that he had removed the skin of the potato so neatly, with no flesh wasted. When you don't have concentration of mind, you do the work in a very rough way or bad way. You'll be wasting too many things. You'll be wasting your mental energy, you'll be wasting all the things, and the work will be very, very bad because your mind is very bad. But if your mind is very concentrated and it has a lot of purity, then the work also will be very, very nice and fine. So now, after the meditation, Shuddhanandaji Maharaj, because his meditation was very deep, while he was working, peeling the potato, he did it with so much of concentration because his mind is now concentrated after the meditation. In the skin, there was no flesh of potato going out. With minimum, very fine way has removed, no wastage. So now, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj took up that potato very neatly, very finely, without any waste, in an artistic way, in an aesthetic way, that potato was peeled. So seeing that, Brahmanandaji Maharaj declared, this potato, who has peeled this potato, that monk had very deep meditation today. So your work, each work of yours shows what is your state of mind, because your thought is the thing which produces work. See, it is, how do you work? Why do you work? Do you work simply without any thought? Your thought brings out your action. So whatever your state of mind will be reflected in your action. So just like they tell, the face is the index of your mind. Likewise, the work is the index of your thoughts, your concentration. So what a wonderful way to find out how our mind is. Deep meditation. See how the connection, reverse engineering. So one day Brahmanandaji Maharaj wanted to test the depth of the monk's meditation, morning meditation. He ordered each monk to peel a potato to bring it to him. He checked those potatoes and then held one up and declared that the peeler of that one had deep meditation. So that person was Swami Shuddhanandaji Maharaj, a disciple of Swami Vivekananda. Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj noticed that he had removed the skin of the potato so neatly in an artistic way that no flesh was wasted of the potato. So one time a rich merchant lost his young wife. Once a merchant lost his young wife. To assuage his grief, he was very much disturbed due to the loss of his wife. To bring down his grief, sorrow, what did he do? He came to Belur Math to live with the monks. Only when we get difficulties, only when we are in trouble, we turn towards God. Otherwise, we forget God. We will not at all remember God. Only when there is problem, then we will start thinking of God. In India, there is a saying, Sankata Bandaga Venkata Ramana. Jab sankat aata hai, tab Venkata Ramana ko bulao. Think of God only when you are in problem. So when sankat or that's why you see there is a name for Hanuman, Sankat Mochan. So one who removes the sankata, difficulties. So we always have the tendency to go towards God only when we are in difficulty. So what will happen? Then you will have difficulties after difficulties to turn your mind to God. Who is responsible? You are responsible. I am responsible. So that's why at one place, Holy Mother has told, जो इष्ट को स्मरण करता है उसको अनिष्ट कहाँ है? When you always meditate on your ishta, ishta means ishta devata, God, then where is the question of anishta? You will never have anishta. What is anishta? Ishta means that which you like. Anishta means that which you don't like. Troubles and problems you don't like. So that's why it's called anishta. Ishta means that which you like. The God which you like is also ishta. Ishta simply means that which you like. But ishta devata means that the Lord which you like. So that's why the name for God is also given as ishta. If you always remember ishta, then you will not at all get anishta, difficulties. That is the statement of Holy Mother. So now, this person, that merchant, why did he now turn towards God? Because he had lost his wife. He was in grief. To bring down that grief, what was the remedy? Run to the ashram. So suppose we always note that in the household life, the child, the girl or the boy is thinking more about God, meditating on God, want to realize God. Immediately what will they do? They will marry them off. Why? If they are married, they will become worldly and they will forget God. They want to forget God. And what is the irony? Then if you are in trouble, if you are in difficulty, too much of problem, then what is the remedy? They will take you to God. They will make you remember God, take to the monastery. When they want to think of God, they will take away from God and marry them off or put them into worldly standard. But when they are in trouble, when they are in difficulty, what do? They will take back to God or monastery or to sadhus. So that is the irony, you see. So that is the speciality. So there is this rich merchant who lost his young wife. To assuage his grief, he came to Belur Math to live with the monks. After some time, because of the satsanga, living with the monks, always thinking of God and the atmosphere, he felt uplifted by the influence of the holy company and decided to donate all of his money and his business to Ramakrishna mission. We have seen, even all of us, they come, they see and they get inspired and they will promise like politicians. Yes, I will donate all my gold. I will donate all my ornaments. I will donate all my salary. So I am getting 60,000 rands salary. So I am going to donate whole thing, 1 month's salary to the ashram, or I will donate all the property. I will donate all the gold. I will donate all my property to the ashram. They will make big promises. You have seen that. Like politicians. Then afterwards, they will forget it. That's a different thing. But now this man also seeing all the activities, poor work, that work of the uplifting the poor and the seva and that wonderful atmosphere, seeing that this rich man, because you see this is Smashana Vairagya or Markata Vairagya. The monkey also gets renunciation. Or when you go to a graveyard or a cremation ground or somebody is dead, you will also get a temporary renunciation. That is called Smashana Vairagya or Markata Vairagya. Monkey's renunciation or graveyard renunciation. So now, then they will take so many decisions, and after that they will never keep up. It will be a short-lived thing, and afterwards they will become their worldly self again. There is a Sanskrit saying, Punar Mushiko Bhava. He became the rat, old rat again. So this rich merchant, after some time, he felt uplifted by the influence of the holy company. So he got this Markata Vairagya or Smashana Vairagya, and he decided to donate all of his money and his business, everything, to Ramakrishna mission. At that time, this is long back. The British were ruling. There was a lot of poverty. At that time, the financial condition of the Ramakrishna order was very, very poor. So when this rich businessman promised all his property and money, everything to be donated, Swami Premanandaji Maharaj, who was the manager of the mutt, was moved by the donor's good intention. And he was very happy, he got excited, he came to Brahmanandaji and he informed Brahmanandaji Maharaj of the offer. He was very happy, he was excited, he came, Maharaj, see, this rich man, he was staying here, he has got so much of inspiration because of our life here. He wants to donate all the money, he wants to donate all his property to the mutt. Now, Brahmanandaji Maharaj knew everything, not only of the past, present, also of the future. So Brahmanandaji was far-sighted. He knew what would happen. Now Brahmanandaji realized that the merchant's renunciation was temporary. I told you Markata Vairagya or Smashana Vairagya. It was temporary. And that the order or Ramakrishna Ashrama would be in trouble if it accepted this donation. Without disclosing this insight or thought, what did Brahmanandaji respond to Premananda? He told Premananda with folded hands. See, with humility, great humility, is telling Premanandaji with folded hands, brother, having the company of the holy man, that worldly businessman got renunciation, and now having the company of that businessman, shall we be involved and get the worldliness from him? That's wonderful. That man, businessman, was worldly. Living in the company of the monks, he got renunciation. That is wonderful. But should that be the reason that the company of that worldly man, that businessman, should bring worldliness to the monks? Are you so much eager to accept that property and other things? Are we not dedicated to God? Don't you think that it is Ramakrishna or the Lord who is looking after our needs? Do you need this property of this person? Not at all. What a wonderful statement, you see. See the insight, farsightedness of Brahmanandaji Maharaj. Without disclosing this insight, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj told Premananda with folded hands, humbly, brother, having the company of the holy men, that we sadhus, that businessman, worldly businessman, got renunciation. Should that be the reason, having the company of that worldly man, businessman, that we should get involved in this world? Needless to say, Brahmanandaji Maharaj refused the offer and did not accept that donation. What was the donation? It was, the ashrama was in very poor condition. Very difficult to get food and other things. I have heard from revered Bhuteshanandaji Maharaj was a young brahmachari at that time when the direct disciples lived, when Brahmanandaji Maharaj lived. They have seen, revered Bhuteshanandaji Maharaj had seen even Holy Mother Sharda Devi. They all lived with the direct disciples. So they used to tell every day in the breakfast, just one cup, this much cup of mudi or puffed rice. We call it air capsules. Even now, if you go to Belurmat in the morning, only you will get this mudi. Nowadays, the condition is improved. You get good food. But when we were there in the training center, mudi, we have gone from South India, Bangalore, and there would be sumptuous breakfast there. From our childhood, we are used to having a lot of breakfast, dosa, idli, and other things. And there in Calcutta, they used to give only little. You can eat as much as mudi, puffed rice. So how much can you eat? It is air capsule. You will get the jaws pain by munching it. So we used to devise a plan. We used to mix the tea with that. So the tea would be given, and we used to mix that tea with that mudi, and we used to consume. That's a different thing. If that was the case when we lived in training center in 92 to 94, what was the condition during Revered Bhuteshaji Maharaj time? Used to tell, they used to give everyone, the monk, for breakfast, they used to give only one cup, small cup of puffed rice. That's all. That is your breakfast, and tea. And what is that tea? Tea, just Ganga water made hot, short to the tea powder with little sugar. So just tea and one cup of puffed rice. That was the breakfast. So that was the condition. The monks and brahmacharis had to live in that way. But you have to do the hard work. No food would be there, not luxurious food, healthy food. So now that was the condition of poverty in Belur Math or any other ashrama in the beginning at that time. So even in spite of that, now this rich man wanted to donate because he was inspired, his mind was uplifted. He decided to donate all of his money and all of his property, his business, to Ramakrishna Math. So the financial condition is very bad. So anybody would have very eagerly accepted it. But it was the statement of Brahmanandaji Maharaj with folded hand is telling Premanandaji, brother, having the company of the holy man, that man got renunciation, and having his company, shall we be involved in the world? Needless to say, Brahmanandaji Maharaj turned down the offer and did not accept the donation of property and money and all the businesses. He refused it. Later on, it came to be true that the businessman changed his mind afterwards. So Brahmanandaji could know, he had that foresight, what will happen in future. He refused it. You know that that renunciation was very temporary. Later on, that businessman, when he went back to the house and business, he changed his idea. There was a young monk in the monastery who was very obstinate and quarrelsome. One day, Premananda forcefully took him to Brahmananda and said, Maharaj, this fellow is short-tempered. He quarrels with other monks. He also quarrels even with me. Please touch his head with your palm, with your hand, so that he can be freed from anger. Then Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj jokingly said, Brother Baburam, the pre-monastic name of Premananda was Baburam. Brother Baburam, today my palm is not good. You better put your palm on his head. But Swami Premananda insisted and pushed the monk's head near Brahmanandaji Maharaj's feet. His joking mood. Now Brahmanandaji was in a joking mood. Suddenly his joking mood immediately disappeared. Brahmanandaji became calm and serious. He began to rub that quarrelsome monk's head with his palm. So Brahmanandaji started rubbing the head of that quarrelsome monk with his palm. Premanandaji Maharaj then pushed that monk aside after that and placed his own head near Brahmanandaji Maharaj's palm and requested him to touch it. When he did, then Premanandaji Maharaj loudly called to all the other monks, hello, hello, the monks who are there, please come, please come. Today, Brahmanandaji Maharaj has transformed himself into a Kalpataru. What is Kalpataru? In our Puranas, in our scriptures, we have the concept after that Samudra Mantana, there was a tree which came. the tree is called Kalpataru. If you go under that tree and pray for whatever you want, any desire, it will give it to you. So that is called Kalpataru, wish yielding tree. So wish fulfilling tree. So now Premanandaji started shouting and calling everybody. Hello, hello, all the monks, everybody, please come, take the blessings of Brahmanandaji Maharaj today. He has become a Kalpataru, the wish fulfilling tree. All the monks and even the servants, devotees who were there, rushed to Swami Brahmanandaji's room. That day, there was a devotee, a householder devotee, a doctor, was inside the bathroom. He was taking bath. So before he finished his bath and dressed up and came, he rushed to Brahmanandaji. But before he arrived, Brahmanandaji Maharaj had gotten up from his seat and he had come out of that mood. He was in that high state. He had manifested some special powers in that hand. So that mood was gone. Before the doctor devotee came, Brahmanandaji Maharaj had gotten up from his seat. When Swami Premananda asked Brahmanandaji Maharaj to bless the doctor, he replied, "Oh, what can I do? That power that came has gone. That power manifested in me now has gone. Now it is too late. I can't do that now." So that is a wonderful incident. One day, Brahmanandaji Maharaj told the monks about the supernatural power of a mantra. So one mantra was there. It was very special mantra. Like that you can find, see, there is a thing called Mantra Shastra, a special knowledge about mantras. There are so many thousands of mantras of different deities for different purposes. You want this, you do this mantra, you get this. You want this, you do this mantra, you get this. If you perform that japa, you will get all those miraculous powers. There are so many mantras. Even now many people follow it and get all those powers. Thousands of mantras are there. The Mantra Shastra itself, there is one. So many like that Mantra Shastra. So now, one day, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj told the monks in Belur Math about the supernatural power of one mantra. Who recorded this event? Swami Nikhilanandaji Maharaj. Who is Nikhilanandaji? Who is the translator of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna into English from Bengali. He lived in US. He became very popular. He published the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in English. And it is now, whatever you see, you can see the name there, Swami Nikhilananda, translated by Nikhilananda, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So that Swami Nikhilananda, who was there in Belur Math as a novice, he is recalling this incident. Swami Nikhilanandaji Maharaj is telling that Brahmanandaji told the incident. Now Brahmanandaji is telling, Sri Ramakrishna taught me a mantra, by repeating which, if you repeat that mantra and if you bring a particular person, remember a particular person, that person, wherever it might be, whether he is in heaven, whether he is in thousands of kilometers away, will come to that place. You repeat that mantra and remember a person, then that person will come to that place wherever that mantra was repeated. That was the speciality of that mantra. So Sri Ramakrishna was an expert, as I told you. We all think that Ramakrishna is uneducated. He knew only to write little Bengali and Hindi and or Sanskrit. No. He had so many master degrees. I've told the master degrees, I will give a list. This is one of them. He was a master in the Mantra Shastras. He knew every mantra, every Bija mantra, everything about Mantra Shastra. So now you see he's telling, he had given Swami Brahmananda, Ramakrishna taught Brahmanandaji Maharaj a mantra by repeating which one could bring a particular person to that place. Repeat that mantra, remember that person, and the person will come to you. Many years later, Now, suddenly, Brahmanandaji Maharaj was at Belur Math. He heard the arrival of one prominent Maharaja, king, had come to Calcutta for some court work. So there was no chance of that Maharaja visiting Belur Math. Now, suddenly he remembered this mantra, which was given by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. When he suddenly remembered, he wanted to test its efficacy. He had forgotten it completely. Brahmanandaji Maharaj had received that mantra and he had forgotten about it totally. For many, many years, he has not used it. Suddenly he remembered. So he wanted to test the mantra. Let me test it. Ramakrishna has given me this mantra. Let me test it, the efficacy. Swami Brahmananda wanted to test the efficacy of the mantra. So just casual joke. He doesn't need. He could have used that mantra and called so many people and he could have gained so many things. But they don't want anything, so much of renunciation other than God. They don't want anything. So now he's playing with that mantra. He's just testing the efficacy of that mantra. So now Brahmanandaji Maharaj wanted to test the efficacy of the mantra taught to him by Sri Ramakrishna. He used it and called the name of that Maharaja. He used that mantra and within a short time, the ruler of the native state, that Maharaja, sent his private secretary to the Belur Math to find a convenient time for his visit there. And he also visited Belur Math, that Maharaja. So Brahmanandaji Maharaj was pleased with the power of that mantra, but he would not use it for selfish ends at all. Just he tested it and forgot it again. No need. What is the need of it? He has gone the highest, he has got the highest Parabrahma, realization of God. God is there. God is always with him, living with him. When the emperor of this whole universe is living with him in his own heart, what will he get from this Raja or anybody? They can give them. He is the real Raja now, Maharaja. He can give even to that Raja. That was the power of spiritual power of Brahmanandaji. But when he tested it and found that it is working, just like a child, Brahmanandaji Maharaj was pleased with the power of the mantra. But suddenly, he also remembered that Master had asked him not to use it unnecessarily. He never used it, he just only tested it. But he remembered. Then forgot about it. One day, a devotee came to Belur Math and complained to Brahmanandaji. Suddenly a devotee came and complained to Brahmanandaji, Maharaj, I have visited this Belur Math for such a long time, but still I feel that I am an outsider. Why is it? The devotee came to Brahmanandaji one fine day and complained, Maharaj, I have visited this place for such a long time, still I feel that I am an outsider. To which Brahmanandaji Maharaj indignantly told him to go whimper to Premananda. Maharaj indignantly told him to go whimper to Premananda. Now he is asking, I am coming to Belur Math, visiting this place for such a long time. Still I feel I am an outsider. The question was something and Brahmanandaji is telling him something to do something. So Maharaj indignantly told him to go whimper to Premananda. Later, in front of all the monks, he repeated what the devotee had said. Then Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj said to the devotee, do you know the purport of what you said? You told something to me. Do you know what is the purport of what you said? Go home and try to reflect on it. Go to the Ghosh sect an esoteric tantric school, and you will get the result in 3 days. Be a devotee, be a devotee. Again, addressing Swami Shivananda, another brother monk, Brahmanandaji Maharaj said, "Sir, some people come here and complain that they have been coming to Belur Math for such a long time and still they are not achieving anything. What does that mean?" To which Shivanandaji replied, "They want more, Maharaj, their stomachs are not yet full." To which Brahmanandaji said, "It may be that food has been supplied but has not reached their stomachs." "Yes, it may be possible," replied Shivananda. Maharaj, by that conversation, indicated that that devotee would not have visited Belur Math the second time if he had not gotten anything. See, there is the funny thing here, so nicely Swami Brahmanandaji is putting it. Why is that person coming for so many years if he had not got anything? Suppose he comes for the first time. He doesn't get any joy, he doesn't get any spirituality in that place. Then why will he visit that place again? And he has been coming to that Belur Math for many years. What does that show? He's getting joy, peace of mind, he's getting so much of spirituality. That is the thing why he's coming for the second time, third time, and so many years he has come. Will somebody come to a place if he doesn't get anything? So that was the idea. He told that, yes, you have got the food, but it has not yet reached your stomach. You do not know, that's all. Yes, it may be possible, replied Shivanandaji. Maharaj indicated that the devotee would not have visited Belur Math the second time if he has not gotten anything. One day, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj said to Master Mahashay, that's Mahendranath Gupta, the recorder of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. What did he tell to him? The Master Sri Ramakrishna came this time to make a bridge between Jiva and Shiva. What is that? Ramakrishna came this time as Avatara to make a bridge between Jiva and Shiva. A bridge, to build a bridge between human beings and God. See how easy it has now become to realize God. Earlier it was all confusion and confusion. Now after the advent of Sri Ramakrishna, it has become so easy to realize God. It has been made so simple. Anybody, there is no restriction, caste restriction or education restriction or age restriction or gender restriction, nothing. Ramakrishna after his advent made it so simple. Anybody can have realization of God. So that is what Brahmanandaji Maharaj meant. Brahmanandaji is telling to Yam, the Master Sri Ramakrishna came this time to make a bridge between Jiva and Shiva. Who is Jiva? Human beings. And Shiva is God. See how easy it has now become to realize Lord. Brahmanandaji was a man of very few words. Then how would he teach? His life was his teaching. As we know that he gave a public lecture only once, that too in Bangalore. That was the only place. Lot of people had gathered in Bangalore. He got a very good mood, high mood of spirituality. Then he addressed those people. That was the first public lecture and that was the last public lecture. So Brahmanandaji Maharaj seldom spoke. He was a man of few words. But then how would he teach? His life was his teaching. His action, his work was his teaching. So his life was his teaching. Rather than preaching religion, he demonstrated it. Once Swami Vasudevananda recalled in his reminiscence, he is telling, It was 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 a.m. PM, not in the morning, in the noon. It was 2 or 3 p.m. on a hot summer day. We should know that especially all over India it's very hot, but in North India it will be very, very hot. And especially in Bengal, because of the tropical climate, it will be very sultry and humid, sweating and sweating. Not only it is very hot, but it will be sultry. You'll be losing water, dehydration constantly from sweating. So it was 2 or 3 p.m. on a hot summer day. Swami Brahmananda was seated in his room at the Belur Mutt monastery. His attendant, one of the brahmacharin or the monk who was his attendant, was fanning him. You know that there was no electricity, there was no fan or air condition. So there would be this leaf fan. The fan, which is made out of some special plant leaf, maybe palm or it may be bamboo. So they will make a fan out of it. So we have seen that even now the people use it. They will be having it in the hand and they will be always blowing the air like this to ward off the heat or sweating. So now the attendant was fanning Brahmanandaji Maharaj. As soon as I entered the room, who? It is Swami Vasudevanandaji Maharaj is recalling. So as soon as Swami Vasudevananda entered the room of Brahmanandaji Maharaj, Brahmanandaji said, "Welcome. It's very hot today. Come, let us meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas." He is welcoming Vasudevananda, is telling, today it is very hot. So how to remedy it? Welcome, it is very hot today. Let us meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas. Because Himalaya is always covered with snow, let us meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas. Then the whole atmosphere will be cool. Do you know this mystery? How to meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas? I will teach you to meditate. I will teach the mystery on how to meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas, and your external, the physical heat will be gone. You will feel cool. How to make yourself cool? How to turn the atmosphere cool? Let us meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas. Then the whole atmosphere will be cool. Do you know the mystery? How to meditate? Yeah, I will teach you. So Brahmanandaji started teaching. First, empty the mind completely. First, empty the mind completely. There should not be any samskaras, impressions. Then the mind will automatically fill itself with God consciousness. When water is poured out of the pitcher, does the pitcher remain empty? At once it is filled with space. Didn't space exist in the pitcher before? Yes, it did. It existed mixed with water. We see only the gross water and not the subtle space. So we think only the water exists. Similarly, although the impressions of the external objects, the impressions, the mind, the bad thoughts, the impure thoughts, whatever it might be, and pure consciousness, that is God, are both in our mind, in our heart. What a wonderful way Brahmanandaji Maharaj is explaining. Just like he is giving the example of a water pot. If the pot is full of water, you pour it out, then what happens? Do you think it is empty? No. Immediately the space fills it. The Akasha will fill it up. So did not the space exist there? It existed with the water. The space Akasha also existed there. But when you emptied the water, the space immediately filled that space up. Likewise, do you think that you don't have God consciousness? God is not within you? Only it is mixed up with the impressions and the thoughts. The moment you empty your mind, empty all those impressions, impurity, then God consciousness will fill your mind. That is the way how you can empty your mind. What a wonderful secret, how to meditate. Isn't it wonderful? Didn't space exist? Brahmanandaji is telling in the picture before. Picture here means P-I-T-C-H-E-R. Picture is not P-I-C-T-U-R-E, but this is picture, that is a pot, a vessel. So didn't space exist in the picture before? Yes, it did. It existed mixed with water. We only see the gross water and not the subtle space. So also we think only that water exists. Similarly, although the impressions of the external objects, whether good or bad, which are there in our mind, and pure consciousness, that is God, Chaitanya, are both in our mind, in our heart. We perceive only mind's gross impressions because they are within the reach of our senses. Senses can only think of it. We perceive it, but we do not see the pure consciousness which is already in the mind. Now, what is the method? If one can make the mind free from impressions, remove that, empty it, just like the water is emptied from the picture, the pot, empty your mind. Pour out all those things out of your mind, the impressions. If one can make the mind free from impressions, then what happens? Pure consciousness, which is Satchit Ananda. What is Sat? Infinite existence, bliss, infinite existence, absolute. What is Chit? Infinite consciousness or knowledge, absolute. What is Ananda? Infinite bliss, absolute. So, pure consciousness, which is Satchit Ananda, will be immediately revealed. Otherwise, through discrimination, viveka, vichara, one can get a little inkling of this Satchidananda which is already there within. One should always discriminate between the right and the wrong. One should always discriminate, use your viveka to know between the difference between the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, the true and the untrue, the real and the unreal, between the God and that which is not God, between the Atman and Anatman. So, Brahmanandaji Maharaj is telling, otherwise, through discrimination, viveka and vichara, one can get a little inkling of Satchit Ananda. One should discriminate. Combining devotion and meditation, one should discriminate. Combining devotion and meditation, and then one will understand the real import of the scriptures, the teachings of the holy men. And also you can understand with this discrimination, with devotion and meditation, you can understand the teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. So that was the way he told, even if it is externally hot, in yoga it is taught, you can immediately overcome that external physical heat, Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha, by meditating on the snow-clad Himalayas. One day, Swami Vivekananda told in America to the disciples, today we will sit and meditate on the heart of the lion. Then they started doing that, and tremendous courage and energy started coming into their heart. So by meditation, any physical thing, if you have fear, Vivekananda taught them how to meditate on the heart of the lion, and tremendous courage, strength started coming to their heart. So there are wonderful meditations like that. Here, Swami Brahmanandaji Maharaj taught Vasudevananda, come, it's very hot today, let us meditate on the snow-clad Himalayas. Then the whole atmosphere will be cool. Do you know this mystery? First, empty the mind completely. There should not be any samskara impression. Then the mind will automatically fill itself with God consciousness, and that God consciousness will appear as you want. Now, there is in yoga, what is that? Asana Siddhi. We put so many asanas. Now, Padmasana or Ardha Padmasana or whatever, Vajrasana. If you practice meditation for many years, for many hours every day in one asana, anything, Sukhasana, which is very comfortable, any one asana, It need not be very complicated asana. Simple asana like Ardha Padmasana or Padmasana or Vajrasana, whichever is comfortable. If you are sitting in meditation or japa for many hours, for many years, then you will get asana siddhi. Then if you have this asana siddhi after many years, then whether the external condition may be cold or hot or whatever, if you put that asana and sit immediately, you will not be affected by the external condition of Shita Ushna. That is there in yoga. By asana siddhi, you can overcome. If it is intense hot in a desert also, if you put that asana which you have the siddhi, then immediately that will not affect your body or mind. Suppose it is too cold, freezing cold. If you have asana siddhi, if you have sat in that asana for many years regularly, then if you have that asana siddhi, if you put that asana, then immediately even intense freezing cold will not affect you. Heat or cold. That's why I've shown many times that video of one monk with just one kaupina, lion cloth, staying in the Himalayas, ice everywhere, ice and ice, snow. He's playing, he's sleeping, he's dipping himself in the ice and sitting in meditation on that ice. Just only one lion cloth, nothing, no slippers, no shoes, no cap, no covering. The body's just only one lion cloth open. But nothing is happening to him. He's living there in Himalayas. Some military people but was staying on the borders, took that video and sent. It is there on the video. If you put it, Google it, you can get it. He's playing there. So how can that happen? Otherwise, even with all the equipments, there will be this frostbite. You may lose your nose, ears, fingers. It will just fall off due to frostbite. You have to keep your everything body warm. Otherwise, you will lose your fingers or nose or ears, frostbite. But that monk is staying there for many years, rolling on the ice, submerging himself, sitting on meditation, no cloth on his body, only one lion cloth. So asana siddhi can do any wonders. So many such things are there in yoga. So Brahmanandaji is teaching all that thing. He had mastered everything. So let us go through the life of this great spiritual luminary. Tomorrow too, again, we will meet to have this. Today, we will stop our discussion here. Wonderful thing was told how to meditate. The secret of meditation was given. You can try that. It's a wonderful way. Now, we will dedicate our time for question and answer because today is Sunday. There'll be no hurry for you people. So if you have any questions, if you have any doubts on today's subject, you can ask. There are some on the live chat of the YouTube. Pranams. Question. Ishwari, I am spending a lot of time for the job. Without job, I cannot live. How can I manage both spiritual and work time? Namaskaram. Pranam Maharaj, can you please suggest and elaborate on ways how to maintain a good routine? Yeah. Good routine and other things, I cannot answer it now because it will take a lot of time. That is what Brahmanandaji Maharaj is. In the life we are seeing how he would make the monks to get up early in the morning, sit for meditation, then do the work, then go to the work. All that thing is the rules and regulations, everything can be seen. The same can be copied. If that routine can be followed by the monks there, the same thing with less intensity can be followed in the house and in the world too, and gradually we can increase that intensity. Any other questions on the Google Meet? Any other doubts on today's discussion? Okay, if there are no questions, if there are no doubts, then we will conclude with the prayer. Before that, today at 9:30, that is South African time, we have the children's class on Hinduism. And today, one special engineer who is a MTech degree holder in electronics, he has learned one special instrument called morshing. He's a good practitioner in that. He will be demonstrating how to play the morshing and how it is played and used, the history of that morshing. So I have sent that link, children's class link, because it is children's class and it is for children. But this music program is something special because the demonstration of that instrument is done. All can join in. You can also enjoy the children's class and also attend the music demonstration class of that morshing, the Jewish harp. So all are welcome. I have sent that link to everybody, the children's class link. So if Naresh can provide that link, even our devotees here, I think most of them I have sent the link. You can come and attend that children's class and also the music demonstration of that special instruments called morching. So
Maharaj, the link is on the chat group.
That's good. Fine. So tomorrow we'll meet again to discuss the life of Swami Brahmanandaji in the life of Great Master. Now we will conclude with the prayer. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshaha Sarvayagneshwaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam Prenite Prenitam Jagat Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayanaya.